Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, this is Steve Roy, the host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show and thanks for listening. Before I introduce today's guest, I just want to take a quick moment to invite all you dads who are listening right now and who are ready to start taking action on reclaiming your health and fitness and becoming better fathers and better men to join our online community. And the best way to do that is to head over to Facebook and apply to our private group, the Fit Dad Basecamp. That's facebook.com/groups/Fit Dad Basecamp. So today I have with me Alan Thrall. He is a Marine Corp veteran and the owner of Untamed Strength. It's kind of a strongman powerlifting gym based in Sacramento, California. And I know he's competed in multiple strongman competitions as well as powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting meets. He also has a really large and very engaged online community with Untamed Strength. And it's not only because he really knows his shit when it comes to this, but his stuff incorporates a lot of comedy and personality, so it's really entertaining. And if you've ever seen any of his YouTube videos, you know what I'm talking about. And personally, my favorite thing about him is he's a Slayer fan. Love Slayer. So Al, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. So, one of the reasons I asked you to be on the show is that I keep hearing your name in my community. So my community is Fit Dad Nation. I have a number of dads. Most of them are 35 to 45, and so there seems to be this trend lately where even in the last couple of years that strength, the whole idea behind getting stronger and doing what you do is becoming more and more popular, kind of more the norm. So I'm hearing it over and over and over, and it's not my area of expertise at all. And so when I started looking at your stuff and watching your videos and learning more about you and what you do, I'm interested in learning more about, your whole approach to fitness. And I know there's a lot of guys in my community that are in the same position. So before we get into all that, maybe you could just take a couple minutes and just share kind of your backstory and how you ended up doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get too in depth with it. We can, talk as we go. But I started lifting weights in middle school in preparation for high school football, and I really was passionate about playing football, and so I needed to lift weights. I had a high school football coach who had us lift weights, and I was really just lifting weights because I wanted to be a better football player, and so that's where I learned a lot of the stuff initially. And once football was over, I actually stopped lifting weights for a few years. And then I picked it back while I was in the Marine Corp and kind of fell back in love with it. So much so that I knew once I finished my time in the Marine Corps, I wanted to open up my own gym. And so once I got out of the Marine Corps, I started Untamed Strength. And it's been a little over 5 years now.
All right. So, I love the story, and I had seen something, you had shot a video about it, but, you were, basically going to college and you realize, this shit is not for me. It's just not the path I want to take. Typically we're taught, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get a job, sit at a desk, and you said, it's just not going to be my life. And so you went in a different direction and ended up pursuing your passions. And I actually, a few years ago, I had a website that was dedicated to exactly that, about kind of the nonconformist approach to, your career. So I love your story, and it does truly seem like you're living your passion and watching how much, how much you love what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of the I guess everything that I've done since I can remember, I've really been all in, and so this was kind of a no-brainer. This is really where I wanted to be, getting out of the Marine Corps, and so I just ran with it.
Yeah, sure. So, tell us about Untamed Strength, the gym. So, do you have? And I thought I had read that you had a couple locations now. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
So we're on our third location. There's only one location. We've moved twice now.
I see what you're saying.
So that's only one location. This is the third location since we opened up. But Untamed Strength is a it's advertised as a powerlifting and strongman gym, but it's there. We have a good blend of members who compete in powerlifting, compete in strongman, but also just a handful of people, quite a big percentage actually, just do general strength training. And a lot of people come to Untamed Strength because they're turned off by the commercial gym atmosphere, and so they want to come here. And they have no aspirations of competing, but they like to do a couple tire flips here and there, some farmer's carries after their squat session. So it's just a lot more equipment than a commercial gym has in terms of variety. And so that's a lot of the population is just people that are doing general strength training. Is it all class based, or are people popping in and like just doing their own workout and leaving? So now that it's been open for quite a while, it's a lot more hands-off for me, because it's a 24-hour access gym. So everyone, when you sign up, you get your own key fob to gain access to the gym. So the gym doesn't have normal hours of operation. People just use it whenever they need. So it's primarily just a membership-based gym. People come in and train, and there are quite a few people who just come in, plug in their workout, and leave. But once you have a bunch of like-minded people that are drawn to this type of gym, there's definitely groups that form, and there's a morning crew and an afternoon crew and evening crew, and so that community kind of builds itself. And so, but I do still do classes, strongman conditioning classes, but I do not. Thanks. But initially, when I opened the gym, it was strictly classes only. Everyone that walked in the door, I interacted with, and I took them through a workout. Eventually, it was more people coming in that didn't really want to do the classes. They wanted to do their own thing, and that kind of slowly grew to what it is now.
So how much time of your day is spent, with hands-on coaching, and how much is spent creating content for your the part of your business?
I don't know. I've always thought about actually sitting down and clocking in the hours to how much is personal training, how much is small things, taking care of the gym, how much of it is online stuff. But right now I'm not working with very many in-person clients. A year ago, 2 years ago, that was all day was working with clients. I have a lot more online clients right now, and so I work with them. So I don't have many in-person clients. So the only time I really work with people outside of a couple of in-person clients is with the classes. And then, I work on the online stuff, the videos, as often as I can. I'm a gym owner first, and I guess I'm an online coach, above being a YouTuber. Gym owner first, YouTuber second. So if there's stuff to do at the gym, that takes priority. If there's online clients that are paying me, I've got to respond to their emails and create new programs. And then once I have more time, I can do the online stuff, because that's not mandatory. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in, those three things primarily.
Do you have any kind of aspirations to go the online route? I mean, you already have maybe 500,000 or so followers on YouTube, and I know a lot of people are monetizing that in different ways. Has that ever been a draw for you? Really, I'm just going to become a YouTuber, and you have the personality for it, and already the momentum and everything else. So has it ever come into your mind, or do you love the coaching piece too much?
Yeah, I would. I don't want to say never, but right now, I would not. The gym first. So if I had to, the choice, if I had to decide today between getting rid of the YouTube channel or the gym, it'd be the YouTube channel in a heartbeat. I really enjoy making the videos, but I just don't know that I could do that full time without offering like a really watered down product and feeling like I need to post every day and reaching for content. But also, once YouTube kind of phases out, if it ever does, or once I stop running out of ideas for YouTube videos or lose the passion, what do I have to fall back on? Who knows? I could run and operate a gym, until I'm 70 years old. YouTube channel, not so much. So, yeah. So the YouTube channel would go in a heartbeat before the gym.
Yeah, that's a good point because, there's so many, we'll call them, quote unquote coaches on Instagram, for example, that somehow have, hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. And, I'm assuming probably many of them are making some kind of money as online coaches. But if that goes away or they're exposed as fakes or whatever it is, that's all gone, right? There's no backup. If they lose their six-pack abs or the woman loses her hot body, right, her business is gone.
Right. Yeah, I think about it often. Like, not that they need to have, a backup plan, or not that it's any of my business, but, what happens when people just aren't interested in this content anymore? What happens when the new trend or the fad or whatever comes out? I'm sure that, someone who's successful right now has, an entrepreneur mindset and an understanding, so they could always move that to something else. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like having something to fall back on. Be in the gym. So,
it's so good to see that someone like truly like you dedicated to their craft. And one of my biggest frustrations with this business, and I shouldn't take it personally, but I do, is seeing these kids that, because they have six-pack abs and a nice body, they can put whatever they want up there. Basically, it's all the same regurgitated information on Instagram and make a living. And, I'm just so tired. I don't know if this is something that you think about, but I'm so tired of seeing like these infographics, for example, on Instagram, right? Every 20 plus year old coach on Instagram now is just flooding it out there with these infographics, and they're all the same shit over and over. And it drives me insane. And it's just stolen. Just stolen content. It's the same stuff over and over. And I just don't understand how people in this day and age are still falling for it, how they're not like, this is ridiculous, this is stupid. And what I love about your stuff is, you just, not only do you just lay it out straight, but you make it funny, make it interesting. You're self-deprecating, you dress up, like women, it's just hilarious. Actually, I love your editing too. Curious to know how much time you spend or your editor spends, because all the cuts in the, even like the double image with, you on one side of the screen and then a different you on the other side of the screen. To me, that would take, 2 weeks to do one video personally.
Yeah, it does. A lot of times it does. It takes a long time, especially if I'm just working on it little bits at a time. But it takes, sometimes for those really longer videos, it takes quite a while to kind of write out the script, or I have to have it, kind of planned beforehand so that I can as quickly as possible, record and edit the video. And I can't have way too much footage and trying to figure out what to do with it. So I have to kind of plan beforehand, and then actually, recording this stuff, and then editing it and, whatnot. And there's a lot of times, I need to record certain things in an empty gym, and there's usually always people here. So sometimes it takes a few days before I can actually do a skit, because I am not going to tell my gym or people in the gym hey, quiet down, record this scene. I want to respect what they're doing. But yeah, some of those videos take longer than a month to do. But it's not 12-hour days working on this for a month. It's just pieces here and there. But something to backtrack, something that you were saying about, the 20-year-olds with all the infographics and regurgitating a bunch of content, or being self-proclaimed professionals. I completely agree. And I actually was thinking the other day, after listening to a guy named, he's had a YouTube channel for a long time. His name's Big J's Extreme Fitness. And he started the YouTube fitness thing, a long time ago. He was one of the first. But I really like his stuff, not because of his production quality or entertainment or anything, but the guy has a lot of life experience. He was in the military in the 80s. He's competed in bodybuilding. He's trained with some of the best bodybuilders in the world. Some of the Ronnie Coleman and whatnot. He's owned multiple gyms, brick and mortar that he started himself. He's owned a handful of companies outside of that. So he has a lot of life experience. And so I really enjoy hearing him talk versus someone who doesn't have any life experience, So, I think some people can sense that, credibility to these online coaches and whatnot.
You would think, and yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of like Elliot Halsey's stuff. You know, I mean, he just speaks right from the heart. He's, you know, I don't even know if he's still doing it or not. I don't know if he shut down his YouTube channel or he's not creating any more content. But yeah, I mean, his stuff is awesome, and obviously he's speaking from experience as well. But there's so many more, you know, just fake coaches out there. And you know, interesting thing about this industry is, you know, when someone says something like, you need to eat 6 small meals a day to boost your metabolism, right? Like that stuff gets, you know, regurgitated so many times that it becomes quote unquote a fact, right? Everyone now, you know, they believed it for a long time, and then it was, you know, you had to have breakfast, all those things, right? So what you talk about in a lot of your videos, you know, that kind of flies in the face of what the traditional fitness professional has learned in their careers, right? Which is, you know, hold breath during a big movement, you know, using weight belts, not warming up, you know, not foam rolling, those types of things. So I'm interested to hear your take on some of those things, because I'm sure you've, you know, from some people you've gotten some backlash. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean don't warm up? I mean, everybody on earth knows you have to warm up, you know, do a dynamic warm up before you get into training. And here you are, you said, I don't give a shit if you warm up or not. Just start squatting with the bar. You'll warm up. You'll be fine. Let's move on.
Yeah, a lot of my content has changed quite a bit. Like looking back a few years ago, I've said, you know, plenty of things that I don't necessarily agree with now. And I don't get people ask, you know, are you going to go back and delete those videos? And no, because I don't really care. Like I'm a person. I learn things. I learn better ways. And I guess the YouTube channel can kind of be a reflection of that. But so with that said, a lot of the stuff I say is just, I feel like there's maybe a little bit of a trend with some other YouTubers, myself included, who are more so dispelling myths than actually putting out new information, you know, or regurgitating anything. It's just saying, well, this, and this are actually not true. But a lot of it comes down to me even questioning myself when I would say certain things, you know, years ago, and to really ask myself, is that true, or do I just hear that and I just, you know, assume that it's true? So, you know, for example, you know, squatting is bad for your knees. And I, you know, rather than argue with someone, I would just say, how do you know that? Or where do you get that from? Well, you know, so-and-so says it. And I'm like, there's nothing behind that. You're just saying that. So that's kind of where a lot of the stuff, you know, you should be rolling, which I used to do, but you should be foam rolling, you know, for 10 minutes before every session. And then I just ask, why? Where do you get that from? Do you hear that from? You know, and it's just making claims and not really thinking about it, just assuming that it's true. And a lot of the stuff, like I said, was I learned myself, because I used to foam rolling, for example. I used to foam roll every day, and I used to do it before every session. And then I, you know, the short story is I got to a point where I didn't have time. My training sessions were really, really pressed for time. And so I said, all right, I've got to just get under the bar and warm up with the bar and squat. I don't have time to do all this warm, so I'll just give it a try. And, you know, several months down the road, I didn't notice any difference, good or bad. My flexibility didn't get better or worse. And it just kind of a realization, like, I don't know why I was spending so much time doing that. I don't notice any difference, you know? So then it was like, yeah, I don't think you really have to foam roll. But that's kind of where a lot of it is, just questioning, you know, why do you say that? And people usually don't have an answer for it.
I mean, and that's just it. I mean, you're not trying to be polarizing and trying to get attention by talking about this stuff. It's just, you know, what you believe, and you know, that's an important thing. And that's what I really try to teach in the community is, you know, educate yourself. Don't accept even what I say. I mean, I'm not the be all end all of everything fitness related. So, you know, where did you get that information? You know, what are you talking about? Why is that true? Type of stuff. Those are important questions that people should be asking that they're not. You know, I mean, I've been in this business for 21 years, and I think maybe twice someone has asked me for my credentials, or, you know, and I'm like, no one cares. It's like, oh, he looks like he's fit. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about. All right, here's my money, you know? And so, you know, it's just, I guess, the nature of this business. But yeah, it's interesting. So, so a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. So, like I said, more and more guys in the community are asking about like real strength training. And a lot of guys have brought up the 5x5, the StrongLifts program. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think they're the reason that they're so popular is because they are, from at first glance, they're doable. They're fairly simple. I don't think that many people starting out want to see a really complicated program. You can start at square one, doing squats to the best of your ability with an empty barbell, if that's what it takes. Bench pressing with an empty barbell. And I think that it's scalable. Just add 5 pounds, 2.5 on each side. I think those would be the main reasons why it's so appealing or attractive to a lot of people starting out. And it doesn't have, and really anyone can do it. You can do a bodyweight squat, but it's not, jumping rope or doing burpees or doing power snatches or box jump, which is not really that scalable, and not everyone can do that on day one. And I think people understand and realize the importance of strength. It's also I think the program, people get so attached to those programs is because it's, you have feedback every day as to how you're doing on progress. I started at 45-pound bar. Now I'm doing 145 pounds for the same sets and reps. This is great. I'm making actual trackable progress. So I think that, we can talk more about it, but I think that that's why those programs are so appealing to someone starting out.
How much of it do you think is the fact that it was, created years ago online, it was a free program, and now it's gone so viral that it's accepted as like the program for strength training? So, as far as I've seen, the guy that created it, he doesn't even give his last name. It's like Mehdi or something like that, which is, that doesn't tell me anything about the guy, nothing. But everybody uses it and accepts it as, well, this is the program if you want to get stronger. So you probably know more about it than I do, but is there some legitimate science to this other than creating a progressive, a micro-progressive program based on just a couple of simple, basic barbell lifts?
Yeah, so StrongLifts 5x5 was 100% without a doubt, stolen from Starting Strength. Starting Strength is 3 sets of 5, squat, bench, deadlift. Next day, squat, deadlift. And then eventually, once you can't add that much weight on your deadlift, you incorporate the power clean. And StrongLifts 5x5 is the exact same thing, but it's 5 sets of 5. And instead of doing the power clean, you do the barbell row. So to give Starting Strength some credit, it was completely a ripoff of Starting Strength. But anyways, I couldn't really tell you. For those reasons that I already explained, I think that's why so many people are drawn to it. And then, by the power of the internet, it just spread like wildfire. Like anytime on bodybuilding.com forums, on Reddit forums, that's all over the place, and everyone has heard about it. So when you go and look on Reddit at, strength training program, or on bodybuilding.com, or on Google, and you see that there are millions of threads on this program, people think, dang, everyone's doing it. I should do this. So I think that it's just built such a huge reputation that's why it continues to grow in popularity, or why it's immediately accepted as the strength training program. Now, I don't think that there's anything magical to the program. I don't think that if someone starting out has to do that. If they do something else, they're not going to get results, or whatever that means, whatever results means. But I think that for that program, everything's lined up, right? Do these workouts. It's fairly simple. Add 5 pounds every session, and just keep doing that. So it's literally exactly what you need to do in the gym. And there's no guesswork. I know what I have to do today. I know what I have to do tomorrow. I know what I have to do in 4 weeks on my day 2, because it's the same exact thing. And I'm just going to keep adding 5 pounds. I don't have to have questions. I don't have to wonder. I just add 5 pounds. And so I think that's what makes the program so popular, I guess, or so widely accepted.
Okay, so I mean, you're obviously a strong dude, but most of the guys, in my community, myself included, will never compete. We're never going to want to try to lift a 150-pound Atlas stone and put it somewhere. But every one of us wants to get stronger. So, we also, I've heard, if you want to lose weight, focus on getting stronger first, build your muscle. You hear all kinds of different things. What's your philosophy on the kind of the progression your middle-aged dad has got 30 pounds of fat around his midsection, been sitting on his ass for 20 years at a desk. He wants to lose that weight. He wants to get stronger, obviously, get leaner, feel better, all those things. Would you tell him number one is to start working towards getting stronger? Would that be your first step?
Nope. I would probably tell him if he was that far overweight, I would tell him that his priority needs to be losing weight. And we'd have to figure out some sort of program that he would adhere to, because that's the most effective program, is one that you're going to do. And the most important thing would be to get your body weight under control. I don't care this is just me assuming. I have nothing to back this up, but I don't think that, if he is 30% body fat, he squats 100 pounds, and we get his squat to 200 pounds and he's still 30% body fat, that anything is really improved other than his ability to squat more weight. So I would say that you need to lose weight first. You could absolutely do that through starting strength and StrongLifts 5x5, but we would also need a diet intervention as well as adding in some conditioning. There are definitely some flaws in starting strength or StrongLifts 5x5, in that doesn't have a huge emphasis on work capacity. It does not have any emphasis on conditioning, and all it really does is get you to add 5 pounds to the bar per session. And it also teaches you the lifts and whatnot, gives you a lot of practice to get better at this bench, squat, deadlift, and press. But there are a number of other things that you can definitely do without sabotaging progress, weight on the bar. But the thing is, a lot of people, they'll say things like, I don't really care how I look, I just want to get strong, which is cool. But it's kind of a cover for, like, I don't want to eat less. I don't want to do conditioning. I'm just going to work on getting strong. But, they take their squat from 100 pounds to 300 pounds, still fat, still overweight. They're still out of shape. And it's on them to decide whether or not they want to make, whether that's what they want or not. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling now.
No, that's fine. No, I mean, I agree with you too. And a lot of what I do is based on, cleaning up lifestyle issues. A lot of it is stemming from diet. I mean, that's probably the biggest excuse that we hear is, I don't know what to eat. I don't know how much to eat. I don't know that whole conversation. So yeah, I was just curious to hear your thoughts. So, speaking of starting strength, I have the book. I've read it. I haven't used it. I haven't, applied any of it, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it, because also it's a very, very popular book. And I think I've seen a video of yours where you were I think you were critiquing one of the starting strength coaches. So it wasn't Mark Rippetoe himself, but it was someone teaching his methods improperly, which is, I think, what the message was there. And got, basically the squat the whole assessment and cueing was not right. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. So I was a starting strength coach. I'm not anymore. But to answer your question about what do I think of the starting strength book, I think that it is the best content or the best product for teaching the barbell movements, better than anything I've ever seen. And so that would be the main reason why I would suggest people read the book. I would suggest nearly anyone to read the book. not because you have to follow the program exactly like it's written, and really not even for the programming recommendation inside of it. It's just actual learning the lifts, how to perform the lifts. So I think that as far as explaining the mechanics and the why to, why the squat is taught like this, or why we teach bench like this and the press like this, I think it's the best source of information out there. So I would not hesitate to recommend anyone to read it, regardless of your ability level. If you're wanting to do the barbell lifts, you can learn a lot from that book.
Okay. All right. So
if you wanted anything specific to talk about, you can ask. But that's my opinion of the book. I think it's a great book. Okay,
got it. I wasn't quite sure your stance on that. So we'll take an average dad, maybe has been training inconsistently for a while, but his goal is strength. He's not in your area, he's not going to your gym, and let's say he wants to get started working on getting stronger and more along the lines of what you're doing versus your typical, gym guy that's going to go and do his bench press, his lat pull downs, the traditional round of exercises you see, but really wants to focus on overall strength. I mean, what would you tell that person, like how to get started? Not necessarily a program or anything like that, but what are the first few steps you take kind of down that path to getting there?
Well, I think that if you can afford it, and if you are into that, find a coach in your area, and that would help. People pay personal trainers for a number of reasons, but one of them is just to keep them accountable so that they actually have to show up. So that can really be helpful to have someone coach you. But I know that can be expensive, and it's not for everyone. But obviously, I would suggest getting some equipment in your garage or getting a gym membership. And then from there, I really think that it is important to have some sort of program to follow. And I don't need to list any names of programs, but getting on a program is going to be helpful because it's going to actually tell you what to do, so that you're not just guessing or doing what you feel like from day to day, because a lot of people struggle with that. I don't know, just like you said, I don't know what to eat, how much I should eat. It's the same with the gym. I don't know what exercises I should do. I don't know how much weight I should use. I don't know how to add weight, whatnot. So being on a program is definitely going to be helpful. And I think that with time, someone will kind of realize what they enjoy doing, what they don't enjoy doing, what kind of goals they have, whether they want to lose weight, whether they want to get, a 200-pound bench press, whether maybe in the future they want to do a powerlifting meet, whatever it is. In time, they'll kind of figure out what goals they want. But yeah, that's kind of the short answer of where they should start. I do think you should start with a program. I do think you should get involved in a gym or maybe an online community, something that'll kind of keep you accountable.
Okay. And I was actually going to bring this up is, I've been going to gyms in and out of different gyms, chains, whatever, health clubs, for years and years. And you always see the same people. They're kind of wandering around, like waiting for a machine. They're watching other people, seeing what they're doing, or clearly they just pulled something off of YouTube that they wanted to try. So there's no real rhyme or reason, and it's just a terrible way to go about it. I mean, you just can't expect the results that you want if you're just kind of randomly doing things and that machine is free, or that looks good, let me try that. So
right, not many people are able to just filter out what they don't need to do and kind of take in everything and say, this is what I need to do when I go to the gym. It is a lot of just, I know I need to go to the gym, so I'll show up. And then you show up and you kind of just float around, not really what to do. And then you just stop going. And I think that's one reason why CrossFit was so popular, is because there's community behind it. The group classes or any sort of circuit training or boot camp training where there's groups, I think that the success rate is probably higher than someone just floating around in the gym by themselves.
Yeah, man, I've had so many people over the years say, I'm like, well, what do you do at the gym? Oh, I just stay on the treadmill, because they're afraid of going out and venturing out into the gym because they have no idea what they're doing and they want to look stupid, and they don't know how to use anything. So, there's that. I'm sure that's still, pretty rampant in the gym. So as far as building a garage gym, I've got actually a video on this myself, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like if you wanted to build, an inexpensive, setup without, the rack or a half rack and stuff like that, what are a handful of things that they can get cheaply or free that would be, highly functional and used to get just a great workout, all-around workout?
Aside from squat rack, barbells, and stuff like that, you said?
Yes.
I have one video that I'm thinking of. I'm sure I have more than one about homemade strongman equipment, and it's basically me making some homemade farmer's handles, and then I have an old car tire with a strap that I bought from Lowe's. And you have some sort of weight that you carry, like an old sandbag. Carry the sandbag, drop it onto the tire on the ground, and then pull the tire with do a tire drag with a strap. So I have a homemade strongman thing. But I think that any sort of, aside from the barbell movements or dumbbell movements, I think that having stuff to carry, whether it's an old keg, a sandbag, some homemade farmer's handles, getting some sort of sled to push and pull would be my top two. Any sort of carry and any sort of push or drag would be my pick if I was limited to that.
Okay, and I guess a lot of people don't know that you can go to an old tire store, and ask, say, hey, do you have any dead tires, right? I did that myself. I built a tire sled myself with maybe, $20 worth of stuff from Lowe's. And I throw some plates in there or a sandbag and I drag it, push it, whatever. So it works. Yeah, it works really well. And I like your story where you said you, back in the beginning when you were struggling to pay rent, you used to go find old tires, like big monster truck tires, and basically deliver them and sell them. It's kind of, I thought about that. I was like, that's a really good idea because it's so popular these days, to do that kind of stuff. And, very few people have a truck that's going to be able to handle something like that. So, picking it up, if it's free, then, 100% profit and then dropping it off. I love it.
Yeah. I had to stop doing that because I was making money doing it, but I was like, this is taking up all my time. Like I can't just sell tires for the rest of my life to pay rent. I got to figure out how to grow the gym. And so I, eventually stopped doing that. But yeah, I was making a couple $100 to go towards rent each month, just flipping tires is what I called it.
Yeah, that's hilarious, but it's really kind of cool. I don't hate on any particular gyms or anything like that, but obviously like places like Planet Fitness get, beat up a lot. And I read that, or I heard on one of your videos that you had gotten kicked out of a gym for deadlifting at one point. So I'm curious to hear your take on gyms like that don't promote, working out at that capacity. I kind of understand, who they're catering to, but I'm sure you've had your experiences of gyms where you're like, they don't want you to do the things that you do, right?
Yeah, I think that, I've since learned, I was just frustrated that I didn't do what I wanted to do there. And so that, just motivated me to start the gym sooner. But I understand, that people are trying to create or companies are trying to create a certain atmosphere. Planet Fitness doesn't care about powerlifters, doesn't care if you can squat, bench, deadlift. They actually don't want that. That's why they don't put it in their gyms or in their, buildings. So I get that. But the story with the getting kicked out for deadlifting, it was at California Family Fitness, which is a commercial gym here in California. And I was deadlifting. I had 185 pounds on the bar. I was warming up, and the guy came over and he was telling me, hey, you need to stop deadlifting. You're making too much noise. And I just kind of said, I don't know what, I rolled my eyes and didn't listen to him. He left, and then I did another set, and they sent the biggest guy they had there. So this guy that's worked there, this big dude came over, and he started some small talk, and I was like totally turned off. Like I don't I don't want to talk to you. I know why you're here, And he was like, hey, you got to stop. You got to stop deadlifting. You're shitting the whole building. And I was 185 pounds, and the gym was a 2-story gym. It's enormous. And I'm like, come on, man, what are you talking about? And he said we're getting numerous complaints. And it was like noon on a weekday. There's hardly anybody there. And I said, numerous complaints from who, man? You're just making all this up. And he's like, oh, I can't tell you that, whatever. And I said, all right, whatever. I shrugged him off again. And I went to deadlift again. Looking back, like as a business owner, I probably should have just stopped, or left when they told me originally. But I was like, oh, maybe they'll just stop bothering me. So I went to deadlift again, and they came over, and 2 of them, and they were like, you need to stop deadlifting or just leave and don't come back. And so I left. And then I immediately went home and bought some stuff for my garage, which, eventually went towards Untamed Strength. But it's funny that I think now, with the rise of strength training and CrossFit and just basic barbell movements, a lot of commercial gyms are coming around. I know there are 24-hour fitnesses with deadlift platforms and bumper plates. That actual 24-hour fitness that I got kicked out of, it was a huge 2-story building, and they had one squat rack, and it wasn't really a squat rack. It was like a squat stand kind of thing. But now those gyms have multiple power racks, and they have actual platforms for deadlifting. So I just think that they realize that a lot of people are into this, so we need to start, accommodating them, which is good, I suppose. But yeah, I think a lot of gyms are coming around to realize that people are into this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I have seen that trend quite a bit, but yeah, it's just so interesting. Something like that would happen. So, as far as the clients you work with, when somebody watches your stuff and the shows, you're deadlifting 500 plus pounds, benching 300 plus pounds, you're crazy strength, right? Got this long beard. People are like, I can never do that. But then you specifically work with everyday folks and even older folks, like, in their 50s and 60s, and you start them, obviously, with the bar, but you still start them with barbell training and saying that's, probably the safest, method of, getting them started. So, yeah, I'm curious to hear about that, like how you approach, the older people. Yeah.
So the gym is when I had started the gym back when I was in the Marine Corps, I was trying to figure out a name for the gym based off this idea of what I wanted it to, sound like. And my roommate and I were thinking, and we realized we came up with Untamed, something we don't know what we're going to call it. And I said, I want the gym to be known or identified as a strength gym. And so I decided Untamed Strength. So really anyone coming in here knows that this is a strength training gym. That's probably what these people do. So I think that kind of acts as a front or a little bit of a filter. It'd be a little different if it was, Untamed Fitness or, something like that. Mm-hmm. Untamed Circuit Training. I don't know. But so I wanted strength to be in there. So I will say that I don't have a problem. I don't help everyone, and I don't try to help everyone. Meaning, if there have been people, particularly somewhat older folks, who have come to me because they were referred to me by someone, and they were kind of like, I don't really want to do the deadlifts. I don't want to do the squats. I'd like to get rid of a little bit of this flab under my arm here, and stuff like that. And I would tell them, I don't think I'm the trainer for you, and I'll refer them somewhere else, because that's what I do. So in terms of like strength training and barbell training. Now, if someone were to say, I'm a little skeptical, that's a different story. But someone who just flat out says, I'm not into that, I don't want to do that, then I'm sorry, it's not the gym for you. Because I think it'd be misleading to have them come in here and train. And I really don't want to work with a client who doesn't want to learn that stuff. So yeah, everyone that I work with learns how to do the barbell movements: presses, bench press, squat, deadlift, and that's usually the meat and potatoes of the program. As far as conditioning, we do have a couple of rowers, we do have a couple of assault bikes, but a lot of the conditioning is just strongman training. It's a very light. We'll do a light sandbag carry down and back, or we'll do a farmer's walk with some light dumbbells. We'll do a keg carry with an empty keg, a sled drag, a sled push. A lot of people, nobody that I've worked with has really said like, yeah, this stuff is boring. I don't like this kind of conditioning. You got any treadmills? So I think that a lot of people really enjoy doing that. And it is empowering to see your squat go from body weight to squatting with 100 pounds on your back. And for a lot of older folks who have actual mobility problems, I don't mean that in the sense of tight ankles, but I mean mobility as in they have a hard time moving. They have a hard time getting up out of a chair or getting in and out of the car. We can start them on a box, with rings or whatnot to pull themselves with arms. And then eventually they're squatting a good amount of weight without a box, without using their arms. So it really gives them a lot of that independence they lose as they get older. And so I think that that's the greatest return on investment. If you're going to spend time in the gym, I'm not going to have you do one-legged, on a Bosu ball dumbbell curls just to give you the false sense that you're actually doing something productive or doing something hard. I want to actually help you. So I'm going to get you to be able to pick things up. I'm going to get you to squat down and stand back up. I'm going to get your arms stronger. Usually they've got wrist issues, elbow issues, shoulder issues, and it fixes itself with a good strength training program. So, it's not that I'm just so married to the fact that the barbell is the best thing and nothing else works. It's just that I think that if they're paying me money, this is gonna have most. So.
Okay. And that kind of leads into my next question was, do you see any need for the use of Bosu balls and stability balls? I know years ago it was, everybody said that, you have to train in an unstable environment, and now it's more, let's just work on functionality, which is, just learn how to do a normal squat right, instead of trying to get fancy with all these apparatuses and balls and things. Do you have a use for any of those things in your gym or with your coaching clients?
I can't think of any reason why. Not to say there aren't any, but I can't think of any. People are, if someone has balance issues, let's take a 70-year-old lady who comes to me who cannot sit down and stand back up without do a bodyweight squat without losing balance, right? She's going to fall back or forward. That actually, sitting down and standing up with 100 pounds actually takes quite a bit of balance. So let's just work on the squat rather than saying, your balance sucks. Let's get on this Bosu ball to improve it. No, that's not the best use of time, I think. Let's get you to be able to squat down and stand back up without using your hands and without losing your balance. So I think that there's a lot. Yes, balance and stability and whatnot is important, but we can do that just by actually training with a barbell, and at the same time we're getting stronger. So I don't see any use for that kind of stuff.
Got it. Okay. Fair enough. So just one other thing too is something you had said about your own personal workouts. And one of the biggest excuses that I hear over and over and over is I don't have time to exercise, right? But these busy lives, right? We're all busy. But you say, it's not an option, right? It's scheduled into your calendar as anything else, and it's not optional. It's like you can't skip a meeting at work. You can't just choose not to go. It's there. Like it's just there. So if you don't get it done at the time you wanted to, you do it after you get done with what you're doing. And I love the idea of you're just not giving yourself an option. And it's not just for strongmen like you who have to train, repeatedly, with heavy weights, but it's, regular person that is trying to be consistent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. It's not an option. I train these days, so I'm going to make that happen. Now, there are times when the day does get away from me and there's a bunch of unexpected stuff that comes up, you might be a long 10-hour day at work. You're trying to get home to the family. Your car breaks down on the freeway, and now you got to figure out how to get home. Whatever. Like unexpected things come up. But I don't miss training. That would just be, well, I can't train tonight, so I'm training first thing in the morning. If you cannot, I think that time management. If it means enough to you, you'll wake up an hour early and go do something. If you don't have the funds to buy a home gym or buy a power rack, save up. If you don't want to save up, or if you can't save up, go do something. Like we said earlier, go find a car tire, figure it out. There are plenty of people who train with limited to no resources. So I think that it's just poor time management, or you're just not being honest with yourself, and it's really not that important to you if you're not going to make time for it. But yeah, I don't have any sort of emotional connection to training. Meaning, it's Monday, I have to do this time. It's not, I'm going to see later in the day if I feel like training, because I'll guarantee you I probably won't. I'm going to see if I have to later in the day, because I will find every excuse not to train. So it's just, I have to do this, I'm going to do it. And it is scheduled into my routine. And so I think that it has to be approached like that. Yeah,
man, good points. And so, last thing, I want to hear about your playlist. So I know you have a video on your top 5 songs. I want to hear a couple of other songs, because I've been a diehard metal fan since I was a kid, starting with maybe even before Slayer, back in 86 when Rain and Blood came out. I was in middle school. What kind of stuff do you listen to? What kind of stuff? I mean, everyone's got their own thing, but I've never found anything that gets you going as much as that kind of music where you throw on Raining Blood and like that. But what are some of your top favorites to get the heart racing and get you focused on training?
Definitely metal by far gets me fired up more than rap, more than dubstep or EDM or house music. It's metal, and I really like, I guess, the classics. I really like thrash metal, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth. But it really kind of depends on the mood that I'm in. Sometimes I'll listen to really, really heavy stuff, and there's also a lot of metalheads that come into the gym. Something about powerlifting and strongman that attracts those types of guys. But we're into more, different genres of metal, black metal, heavy metal, death metal. And so it's, a lot of times whatever they're playing. But aside from metal, sometimes I'll listen to classic rock. If I'm not, I'll listen to, I'll put Led Zeppelin on, or some Led Zeppelin Pandora or whatnot. But sometimes I'll listen to other rock, like Faith No More or Queens of the Stone Age. I like that stuff too. Some of the stuff that I listen to that not a lot of people know, this is usually like if I'm in the gym here alone, at 5 a.m, and I'm just kind of plugging through my workout. I'll listen to, sometimes I'll put on reggae. Sometimes I'll listen to old, like, outlaw country stuff. And there are times when I listen to Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. No joke. So the complete opposite end of that. Not the complete opposite end, but something that, not typically. But again, that's just music that kind of gets me going or gets me through the workout. It's nothing that's going to fire me up quite like metal would.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember a band called Sacrilege BC?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I recently just found them again as I had lost touch. I mean, I hadn't heard that name in years, and I listened to them when I was a teenager, and I found a couple of their tunes, man. And you want some music to really get into when you're training hard, man. That is some good stuff. And also downloaded some Dark Angel.
Nice.
If
Very
you're
cool.
into that.
Yeah.
Merciless Death.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of guys who are into the black metal thing, and especially with the new Behemoth album, they've been playing a lot of that. I've been really into, they're not a newer band, but I mean, they're not an 80s band, is a band called Power Trip. You heard of them? I would highly suggest checking out their album. It's Power Trip. The album is Nightmare Logic, and they're newer guys, definitely making music like in this era, and it's good, really good, like fast, hard thrash metal. But yeah, Power Trip is a really cool band that I would suggest checking out.
Huh? Yeah, no doubt. Cool, man. So anyway, where do you want people to find you? Find more information about you online?
So Instagram and YouTube, only online platforms that I use. I have a personal Facebook, but I hardly ever use it, and I don't accept friend requests from people that I don't actually personally know. So Instagram, Untamed Strength. YouTube is also Untamed Strength. The website is trainuntamed.com. There's nothing on there really other than signing up for the gym or scheduling personal training in person. So that's not of any use to listen. But the gym, Untamed Strength, is in Sacramento, California. So if you're looking for a place and you're out listening in that area, send an email, untamedstrength@gmail.com. And if you want to come by, you can. We do free open gym days. We used to call them Strongman Saturdays, but we've been attracting more than just Strongman from 8 a.m. to noon, where the gym's open for free every Saturday. So that's a good time to come check the gym out. But yeah, Untamed Strength, Instagram, and YouTube.
All right, good stuff. My father lives out in LA, so who knows? Maybe someday I'll shoot up to Sacramento and drop into your gym, and you can push me around.
Very cool. Where are you right now?
I live in Maryland, about 45 minutes from DC.
Ah, okay, cool. I was stationed in Maryland, in Thurmont, Maryland.
Yeah, I'm about 20 minutes away from Thurmont. So I'm right outside of Frederick.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, I used to.
The
only thing that there was to do during our off time was go to the Chipotle, the movie theater, Maggie Moo's ice cream.
Oh yeah,
which was in Frederick, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Or we'd go to the Hagerstown Mall.
Yep. The outlets there.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, small world. Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate your time. I think thanks for joining us and sharing some of your knowledge with us.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you bet, man.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.